besides teaching Chinese, I also teach Lego class, same as Senora Camacho. In Lego class, students learn how about the organizational skill for their schoolwork, and then also we'll learn about digital literacy. And we will also invite the school counselor, which is Douglas Gosling, to come and talk to us about internet safety. And personally, I'm also a coding class teacher, so we are looking forward in the future when the school reopen, I will continue to teach coding. Yeah, that's all. I will see you all in the classrooms.
Yeah, okay, well, we are waiting for Madame Plush to arrive because she's the next speaker, but I just want to comment that the first contact for parents of sixth grades are the sixth grade advisors. And also we create a warm environment for the students. So just make sure that your kids are in good hands, okay? And also for parent teachers conference, you're gonna be meeting with us, one of us or two of us for grade. And we're gonna be reporting about all the classes your kids are having and the grades and the rest of the school things that are happening with your kid. So we're gonna be seeing you more often. Waiting for Madame Plush to arrive, but if you have any question about advisory, here we are.
I have a quick question. Do you guys use French, English, both in advisory? Like how do you know, some of those big topics?
Today, I really use both. Usually I speak only French to my group of advisors, but today, given the topic and the text I had to read, I used both. And if a student is more comfortable speaking English, they are welcome to speak English.
Usually the French teachers speak French with the kids all the time in all circumstances, and the English teachers speak English with them, and the languages teachers, we speak English with them, so that we can have the balance for two languages.
Hi. Hello, my name is Yumi.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, I have a little question. I'm Nori's mom. So I have a question about the Wednesday's schedule. So looks like we have an independent guided study and the independent study and advisory, and then also office hours. Can you please explain a little bit about each class, the purpose, and then what you expect for the student to prepare?
Yes, so I'm responsible for that independent study group on Wednesdays. Students are expected to be present, and I try to help them organizing with their homework and doing the maximum homework they can. The difference with office hour is that during office hour, students can go see any teacher, so they don't have to stay on my Zoom link, and they can retake the tests, they can do homework, they can ask for more explanations, so they don't necessarily stay with me. During independent studies, they are asked to stay on my link, and I talk to them and check what they are doing and how much homework is left and how they're going to organize.
All right, it looks like Madame Plush has made it here, so I think it's time for her to give her presentation. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Sorry about that. I am an 8th grade advisor, and I was supposed to do the presentation in 8th grade, and we have lots to talk in 8th grade. Such an important year. I'm gonna start sharing my screen. Here we go. I hope you can see that. Oops. I need to be on the correct link. Here we go. All right. Let me make sure that you guys are not in the way. Oh. Okay, I can't do that. Never mind. Oh, what's happening? I can't get to my presentation because the Zoom bar is, there we go. Sorry about that. I couldn't grab my, all right, French math, first of the evening. So the French curriculum is puts an emphasis on 6 what we call meta skills that are the core of mathematics. It's researching, model, represent, reason, calculate, and communicate. So when we think about math, we don't think straight away about all the others. We only think about calculate, but calculate is only one aspect of math. And French, in this class, which is going to focus on geometry, we are going to try to develop a lot all the other skills. All right, sorry. So the 6th grade objectives in French math is first to speak mathematician. It's kind of funny to think about math as a language, but it really is. It has its own vocabulary and its own notation. So when you think about it, it's really a new language. So we're gonna, the first thing I actually, to make an example, I ask your students, everybody knows what a circle is, and they're like, yeah, sure, we know what a circle, everybody knows what's a circle. And I'm like, can you define a circle speaking math? And I'm going to ask that question actually very quickly. Does anyone want to volunteer and define what a circle is? Oh, sorry, I don't. Let's see if my participants are raising their hands. Nobody wants to do it? Come on, guys, help me here a little bit.
Yes.
Yes, Julie, please, okay. Can you share what is a circle?
I think
I would say. Oh,
sorry. Julie raised their hand. Okay. So, can you go ahead? The one with the blue hand. The person who raised their hand through the Zoom with the little blue hand. Can you go ahead?
Then I guess that would me.
Yes,
okay.
Julie.
So I would say those are all the points that are the same distance of a single center, of single point.
Thank you. Do you know what we call that said set?
I mean, the center, the point in the middle is the center. And
no,
then
I'm talking about the set of points. It has a name.
Points.
All right.
Perimeter?
No, it's called the locus. No. So anyhow, the point is, it's really hard to define. When I tell the definition to your kids, they're like, whoa, what is that? Yes, it's not a round object. It's the set of points that are equidistant to a single point that we call center. And we could also refer it as a locus. So you see, this is very strange vocabulary. This is things that you don't do in your everyday life. It's called mathematician, I'm afraid. So we'll try to speak mathematician. And that happens when you learn the appropriate vocabulary. So be aware there's going to be a lot of learning vocabulary, but we're going to also access that vocabulary to get instructions to produce complex drawings without being presented the model. We're also going to use geometry software and construct in a different way. And because it moves and you're able to move points around, you're going to see stuff that you can't see on a piece of paper. And then we're going to do as well an introduction to coding, because the French Minister of Education has expanded the math curriculum into the programming curriculum. So in French math curriculum, we're going to do geometry mainly. And we're going to learn very few new concepts, but we're going to deepen a lot the concepts they already know, especially from a mathematical point of view. And we're going to introduce some concepts, but not too many. I'm just going to be very, we're going to have 6 units. And the first one is, you know, what's geometry and all those stuff that we have to reason with, what are they called? And then we're going to dig in on properties from a mathematical point of view. So they think they have, the students think they know, but they don't know it from a mathematical point of view. So it's a big year when you start thinking and speaking mathematician. I'm going to move on. So the class routine usually, maybe not this year, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but you can read quickly through the points. I hope it's going to happen at some time this year. I really do. But right now we are in distance learning. So the students will have 4 periods of math a week. One of those periods is happening during independent study. So be aware, sometimes for 6th graders, on Monday, we haven't had a Monday yet, but on Monday they do not have independent study. That we start at 2:20 and it's a math period. For each class, they're supposed to have their Chromebook. And that's a given, the Chromebook, otherwise they wouldn't be in distance learning. But they need their geometry tool and the dark blue unit folder that they have picked up. If they don't have it, you're somewhere else. It's not a big deal because everything is in Google Classroom. There is a link to a folder that contains all the handouts. And we work with what I call the pacing guide, in French, feuille de route. And the pacing guide describes what they need to do when they need to do it. It has all the links to the videos, to the handouts. And I hope you can see what it is here. And they need to read things, watch videos, do things. Usually in my class, I put them in breakout rooms so they can do those things together and help each other. And of course, I'm there to help them when they need my help. And so the distance learning guidelines are that you have to use Google Classroom a lot. The resources are in Google Classroom. That's your first point if you look for something. They also need to take good picture of their work. Unfortunately, geometry requires for pen and ruler and paper skills. So they're gonna need to take good picture of their work for me to evaluate their precision, their understanding of the concepts. So we have asked them to take PDFs preferred because they need to post it in Google Classroom. We grading in Classroom. We have rubrics in the Google Classroom. So please, when there is a missing assignment, do not send an email. You need to tell your child to post it in the correct assignment on Google Classroom because that's where I can grade it. Otherwise, it's really complicated to grade things. Google Classroom has a how do you say that? A native environment for the teachers to put comments on the kids' work. Once they post your work, it's not done. The learning has not happened. It's when they check the comments I put on their work that the learning happens. You know, you forgot the unit. You didn't realize that the base is not that length. That's the kind of feedback they get, and they need to. When I return their assignments, they need to check the comments, and I'm teaching them how to do that. And of course, we have at the beginning of each class, so please do not be late for math classes because the first 15 minutes are devoted to answer questions about the handout, correct some challenging problems on the handout. So it's really important that they are here at the beginning of the class. The grading is 1 pop quiz, 1 test. The distance learning and some homework that we do. We don't do only handout. We have interactive websites, dynamic software, etc., etc. And so if you want to assist them, they're going to need assistance posting their work. For 6th graders, it's really something that they're going to struggle with. So please help them capturing, posting, review my material, asking, you know, if you receive an email from me that the work is missing, ask them, did you turn the work on the correct assignment? Did you turn the correct picture on the correct assignment? And that kind of question they don't think about, and they should read my comments to know what's going on. And you can help them as well drilling for definitions and vocabulary, and you know, encourages them to ask for help. And again, Google Classroom hold the handouts. If they lose a handout, they can find it online. I think that's it. If you have, I think I went over, but I started late. So I don't know who is next to me.
He is here. So I'm sorry, Madame Lush, but thank you very much. I think Valerie's ready.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to stop sharing. Here we go.
Okay, so I can share?
Yep, go ahead, I'm leaving.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm gonna try to go fast. I'm the French teacher and also the drama teacher. I'm gonna try to incorporate some drama into the distance learning, but I'm looking forward to real classroom and real drama. I mean, drama class. So this is the textbook we are using. I'm gonna put it online. Right now, I'm giving, taking screen captures of the pages. So each student has the right page. During the year, we are going to work on 4 big themes. It's the French curriculum, adventure stories, monsters, including monsters in mythology, Greek mythology, creation stories, and also poetry. And the 4th theme is resisting to the strongest, like in the fables or things like that. So I have 8 units, and in each unit there is, I don't know if you can see the last one there. So I'm gonna try to do everything. It's my goal, but we have less hours with distant learning, only 3 hours a week. So for that reason, I put everything online. So in each unit, we are going to have reading, spelling, conjugation, grammar, vocab, writing, and oral presentations. A lot of activities are graded. I give small quizzes mostly for grammar and conjugation and orthograph, spelling. And at the end of each unit, there is a test of reading comprehension with some grammar questions. But during distant learning, I'm grading every assignment students do during my class. If they are not finished, they can finish as homework. And I don't give too many points for understanding, but mostly I want to give students good habits to answer with sentences, to post the work on Google Classroom and on time, and also to do the work by themselves. I learned from distance learning last year, at the end of the school year. Some students wouldn't do the work by themselves, they wouldn't try hard enough. So I'm giving points for that. This is some of the books and movies we are studying. And also I wanted to share Google Classroom is an important part of where is it now? Oh, here. I put everything on Google Classroom. So for example, the whole sequence, the whole first unit is online. So students can work at their own pace because some students are finished with the work. They are welcome to start some of the work we're gonna do later. And all the links I put there are mostly to help students. I put some YouTube and some explanations. Here is a big text online that they can read when they are finished. And also I invite students to sign up for after class. I have my own class and there is a code. I'm not grading what they do on after class, but it's a nice website where students can, who are finished, can do some more French work. I think that's it. If you have any questions, feel free. Everything in yellow is gonna be in a test at the end. If you don't have any questions, I'm gonna pass to.
Madame Bishop,
oui.
J'ai une question, c'est par rapport au théâtre, comment est-ce que vous allez gérer ça?
Alors là, par exemple, les élèves, je vais les mettre par groupe et ils vont devoir lire. Oh, I'm gonna put students by groups and they're gonna have to read theater, like a part of a play, a scene by Molière.
Okay.
And yeah, that's mostly what I'm gonna do.
All right. Okay.
And they're gonna probably also they're gonna write their own scenes and play them by groups, because we can make groups with Zoom.
Okay. D'accord. Merci beaucoup.
Oh, you're welcome. And they're gonna need your help also to record their voices. I put that online. I put how to record your voice, so maybe you can help them with that. If they, I mean, I'm here to help also, of course. Thank you.
Merci, Madame Bishop.
You're welcome. I'm going to stop the share. There you go.
All right. All right, you all done, Valerie? So before you leave, if you can make me the host, I think that'd be good. All right, welcome.
I think you are we are all hosts.
Okay, I think it has co-host, but you can make me the host, I think. But it'll probably work either way. Okay, welcome. My name is George Speckman. As I've told you guys earlier, some of your students I am the advisor for, and I also teach science for both, for all of the grades, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I'll see if I can get us on time here at 6:48. So let's see here, let me move this. So here's a little bit about, so I want to share a little bit about myself and a little bit about what I'm going to be doing with your children in our classes. So for me, I am an outdoor nature enthusiast. I love to go out and study the natural world. So the picture on the left is me in my natural habitat looking up at redwood trees or whatever happens to be around me that's alive and beautiful. I've taught middle school science for 5 years, and this is my 2nd year at EB. I love to teach the process of scientific investigation. So I think that this is a wonderful age to teach. There's lots of fun things that are going on, and to go through the scientific method, if you will, or the critical process of thinking and exploring and investigating, I think is really beneficial for students no matter what they're doing. So I love teaching that process. So of course I love all of my subjects that I teach, but more than that, it's a way of thinking and approaching the world that I'm hoping to communicate to them. On the right there, I'm doing a little bit of chemistry during our quarantine, making some hydrogen bubbles so I can light them on fire. I also am a parent, so I have 3 children that are similar ages to what your children are, so I'm familiar with what you guys have going on at home. They're unique, they have special needs and gifts, and they're wonderful to deal with. Here's me with a couple of them, and one of the things I'm often doing as I'm running around outside is pointing at things and talking a lot. So there's me pointing. And so why I love to teach is that I myself love to learn. So I, you know, here go to a beach and turn around and there's this beautiful rock outcrop, and so I run over there and see what kind of rocks are going on and see if I can identify them, and just study the beautiful crystals that are going on there. And so what I hope, in as well as teaching them how to investigate things scientifically, I also hope to inspire a wonder and a delight in the natural world, so that you can investigate it and explore it and learn those methods. But at the root of that, the reason that you're doing that is because you love it, and because you see wonderful things to do there. As you may know, with the middle school curriculum at EB, your children will have French classes and English classes and math classes most days, if not every day, most days. Those three subjects they're going to be kind of anchoring. A subject like science, they're going to have twice a week. So I'll see them twice a week. So it's a little bit less often, just so that you're aware. And in terms of the curriculum progression, what we've chosen to do, so we teach science in the middle school all in English. So it's one of our only subjects that we do just purely in English, and we follow the Next Generation Science standards as sort of our reference point. And what we've chosen to do is do the conceptual progression model, which means that each of the subjects, each of the scientific disciplines are covered every year. So rather than focusing on a particular subject in 6th and a different one in 7th and a different one in 8th, we cycle through all of the disciplines each year. And what that allows us to do is show more interconnection between the disciplines. So as an example, if we're looking at geology and I want to try to communicate how mineral structure works, it's going to be very difficult to do if a student doesn't have some background in chemistry, because it's all about how the atomic bonds work. So this way, rather than teaching chemistry at the end of 8th grade, and I can't really do that when I'm doing geology, I can come through and they're going to have chemistry and geology each year. So I can build on that knowledge as I go. Also, because students are developing so quickly at this age, it allows us to make use of that maturity and that development throughout these 3 years. So as a quick example of what that would look like, one of the units that they'll have is one on cell biology. So in 6th grade, we'll focus on the development of cell theory as a fundamental theory in biology and modern biology, what a cell is and what it means to say that all living things are made of cells, and then look at some of the simplest single-celled organisms. Then in 7th grade, getting a little bit deeper into it, looking at the nucleus of eukaryotic cells and how cells go through the reproduction process, the different types of reproduction that they have, and the different types of cells we have. So looking at the complexity of a nervous cell versus a blood cell versus a muscle cell, and how they're all going to look a little different. And then in 8th grade, getting into biological molecules, biochemistry, so how protein is different from a lipid or a carbohydrate, and looking at DNA reproduction and genetics. So you can see there that we can allow that spreading to go deeper and deeper each year. So a quick glance at what we'll be doing over the course of this school year. These are the 7 different domains of science that we'll be covering again each year. And so in our fall semester, we'll be starting with astronomy. So I've already gotten them started just a little bit. We'll be doing some more of that tomorrow with them. So we'll be focusing this year with our astronomy on the sun, moon, and earth system. So the phases of the moon and how they go through that cycle, what the names of them are, why the relative position causes the moon to appear differently and appear in different places in the sky each day. The solar system, so the formation of the solar system, the structure of the solar system, how it came to be, when it came to be, and why it's in the particular shape that it is, and the different parts of it. And then a little bit of an introduction to the sky, a map of the sky and constellations. Each one of these units will be about 5 weeks or so, and then we'll move on to the next unit. So in about 5 weeks, we'll move into chemistry, looking at the fundamental atomic theory, what an atom is, and how atoms are structured, and an introduction to the periodic table. They'll memorize the first 10 elements. Then we'll move on into geology, and in geology, we'll look at the study of and creation of maps when we study cartography, how materials cycle through rocks. So we'll look at the rock cycle and the different types of rocks and how over millions of years they go into other types of rocks, and the early history of the Earth, so what the Earth was like in its early formation and before complex life. Cell biology will start in the fall and then end in the spring. So I discussed a little bit about what we'll be doing this year in cell biology. And then we'll move into other biological sciences, so botany and ecology. Those will be grouped together, so we'll look at ecological roles and how those fit together into food webs, and the plants as being the basis of those. So looking at what it means to say the plants are producers, and a little bit about how photosynthesis works. Then we'll move into animals and zoology. So we'll lay the foundation of studying animals by looking at anatomy and physiology. So how form and function fit together in an animal, how you can identify different parts and the different purposes that they serve. And then an introduction to the broad, what different types of animals that we have. Then we'll end the year looking at physics, and we'll be thinking about position and motion, so basic physics of motion, some simple machines, how we can make work easier, and then an introduction to fluids and to waves. So that's a brief glance over the year. If you have questions as we go through this, always feel free to email me and let me know whatever is on your mind or anything that I can do to help. Julie, you have a question? I see a hand up there. No? Okay, so I'm 2 minutes over, so I'm going to go ahead and pass over to Coach, who's going to talk about PE.
Does that make me a nervous cell or a nervous molecule now that I'm up? Which one is? I think it's nervous cell, right?
Probably.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Speckman.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. I'm Coach, if you didn't know. I'm going to go over basically what I'm going to be doing for the next, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks till hopefully, and I say that with the utmost optimism that the things will clear up at the end of October or November, so we can get back to school and get back to playing out in the yard. But anyways, this is what I'm going to be doing while we're here and doing the distance learning. I have all the students once a week. I have them do a complete stretch program that can last anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. I mean, I try to stretch out as many different muscles as I can, trying to get them to do it properly, trying to answer any questions they have as we go along. Then I give assignments toward the second half of the class. Some of the assignments are writing assignments. I will be given tests like physical fitness tests, like sit-ups, the sit-ups test, and the push-ups test. Can't do the mile run test because, well, not only because of the smoke, but because it's kind of hard to, I don't know, have somebody videotape themselves while they're running a mile, but at least they can record. I mean, they can show themselves on camera while they're doing the sit-ups and the push-ups, so that's a little bit easier. Anyways, other things that I will have them do, I like to give them the last 10 or 15 minutes to go for a walk, but then not just walk, but I give them an assignment while they're going for the walk, one that they're going to be held accountable to, and one that I'll have to grade. The reason I think it's important, because sometimes I think just listening to them that if I don't send them on a walk, then or if I do send them on a walk, that might be the only time they get out of their, I don't know, couch or bed, or stop playing video games for a while and get out and get any kind of exercise. So anyways, that's why I do it, and I try to give them like a little scavenger hunt. You know, they got to find something, and send a picture back to me of whatever I'm searching for. This at least proves that they were out of the house for a few minutes. Now, a lot of times, I mean, every time I make sure that they ask for your permission to do that. And on days like today and probably tomorrow, it's going to be kind of kind of hairy unless the air quality improves and stuff. But that's what I have them do. I also am going to be having them watch YouTube videos on sports, but we're not talking like highlight films or watching the Warriors win the championship 3 out of 4 years or whatever, but some insightful videos. They're short, they're somewhere around 10 minutes, 15 minutes long, and sometimes they're tear jerkers. I want to get their writing, feeling how they feel, and how they can put it down on paper, what they're feeling when they watch things like this. Also, I have them, like I said, doing writing essays too, which they're not really thrilled about when they come to a PE class, but just kind of changing things up. So we aren't just doing like one thing for 6 or 8 weeks straight, kind of try to do a change up every couple weeks. Anyways, another thing that I'm trying to do, which I have proposed to the administration, is an after-school sports class. Now, of course, we can't play other schools at this time, but just to have a class after school that the kids can run around, and whether we're doing things like sprints or half miles or miles, or whether we're trying to play games like kickball, baseball, soccer, basketball. I've sent in the proposal. Now, of course, it's got to be kind of approved. There's so many of these sophisticated rules and laws in the county of Alameda, so that we have to kind of follow, and we're kind of restricted. So, but as soon as that's approved, that's going to go into the, how do you say, books for after school. Masks will be worn at all times. The classes will usually run something like 3:30 to 5, 3:30 to 5:30, something like that. Hand sanitizers at like every corner of the bases, the corners of the yard. I mean, just abundance of hand sanitizer with the masks, and we're outside. I'm figuring with those 3, we can kind of get something in between these laws and rules. So just to get the kids out to have some fun and play. At least that's my theory. And but like I said, there's laws and stuff involved, so we got to wait until all those I's are dotted and T's are crossed, so to speak. So be looking out for that, especially toward the end of September, early October. And anyways, we will be trying to play like different games too. I just found out that there's some kind of rule that they don't want everybody touching a ball. Well, that's kind of hard when you're playing kickball or soccer or basketball or baseball. But like I tried to stress, if there's hand sanitizer everywhere, I mean, look, we don't have a problem with going to the supermarket with our children to pick out food and stuff. Why can't we get them all together and have a little fun and play some sports? Anyways, that's what I have planned for the next 6 to 8 weeks, whether it's during school or after school. If there's any questions, try to show me your hands or wave at me or tell me to do something, because if within like 30 seconds I can already see Patricia here, and wherever Patricia Camacho is, I'm sure Ender's to follow, so they'll be ready to take over the next segment. But I don't see any questions, so anytime you're ready to go, Patricia or Ender, it's all yours.
Ready to go.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach.
Right. Thank you so much, Coach.
Sure.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mr. Chu. My Chinese class students call me Zhu Lao Shi. So Zhu is my last name, and then Lao Shi is it means teacher. So in Chinese we call teacher Chu, literally what it means, teacher Chu. All right. So in English you just call me Mr. Chu. This is my 14-year teaching at EB. I was born in Malaysia as a 3rd-generation Chinese. Chinese culture and educations are very popular in Malaysia, but it went through a lot of political struggles in order to preserve those heritage because of the racial politics in Southeast Asian countries. So that is a long story. So in my school years, in addition to learning Chinese, I also learned English and Malay language, which is the national language of Malaysia. Okay, so here are my slides. So some of the reasons that you might want to learn Chinese. Of course, all other languages are important. So I want to highlight on the third reason and the fourth reasons. It says the most used internet language. So Chinese has already topped English as the most popular language on internet since 2007. So in the future, you probably need to type Chinese character as a URL address. Who knows, right? And then the reason for the last reason is it is relatively easy to pick up. It sounds very strange, but it's true in terms of conversations, because Chinese has a very limited syllable, which meaning there are not many sounds in the language and hardly any new ones if you already know English. The only sound that you could not find in English is the U sound, the U with the two dots on top, okay, with the accents. But French has this sound. That's another advantage for EB students to learn Chinese. And that means EB students has no excuse not to learn Chinese well. Uh-oh, too bad. For those who enroll in my Chinese class, I have high expectation of all of you. All right, relax anyway. Okay, so these are the evolutions of some Chinese characters over generations and generations. Initially, it began as a pictographic. Okay, so it looks exactly like the object of that. Looks like exactly the object. And then later it's gradually evolved into the characters of today. So this is sun, this is moon. It still carries some kind of the shape of the real object. Mountain, see the 3 mountain peaks, all right? It's water, originally it means river. And these are some of my favorite characters. It looks exactly like the rat, the tortoise, and the deer. Okay, so in 6th grade, the goal for 6th grade is to learn about 180 commonly used Chinese characters, such as big, small, 大, 小. And then with a combination of those characters, you can learn about 300 to 500 commonly used words, such as 朋友, friend, and then tomorrow, 明天. And then with those words, you can construct a short sentence, such as, 我忘了带功课去学校 means I forgot to bring my homework to school. And this is very important for some students who always forget their homework. It's very good to learn that in Chinese. Okay, I'm sure during a presentation last year in 4th grade, I should demonstrate how to type in Chinese characters. So I'm not going to waste too much time on this. I want to go forward to talk about the grading system, right? For assignment, yes, character writing exercise is the main part. If you ask your kids, they already assigned about 3 pages for this week for them to write the characters. It's very important that when they write, it's not just to complete the homework. It's very important for them to learn the stroke sequence, because if you don't follow the stroke sequence, you will never be able to memorize the characters. So that's a rule, that's a reason behind the stroke sequence. For example, this character is big. You always start with this stroke, the horizontal stroke. 1, 2, and then 3, okay? If you go the other way around, it's very hard to remember that, because there's a logic behind the stroke sequence to help you remember the characters easily. So this is the characters for love. We want to start from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These characters means love, okay? All right, and then also for quizzes and tests, they're going to learn about 10 to 12 nursery rhymes in Chinese, and we'll be tested on that. So they have to memorize the whole song and sing it in front of everybody on Zoom. It's not graded based on how well they sing, based on the pitch or the rhythm. No, not at all. As long as they can get all the lyrics clearly out loud, even they don't get the tune correctly, they get perfect score, okay? And then typing quiz with translation from English to Chinese, and then there will be a speaking test. And next month, there's a Chinese festival coming around. You know, what is that? The Mooncake Festival, okay? So we're gonna do a presentation on that and discuss about this Chinese festival. And the fourth part of the grading system is the class participations. All right, I'm not gonna take too much time. I'm gonna hand over the other half time to the Spanish teacher, Senora Camacho. Take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Xu. Hello, buenas noches. Before I start my presentation, I would like to ask you a question. How long have you been without breathing? And not just the breathing, you know, the unconscious breathing. So I'm going to invite you, because this has been a long day for everybody, to take a deep breath. And then when you breathe out, you're going to make your hands a fist, very strong, okay? We're going to do it 3 times. So shake your body a little bit, okay? Breathe in, and then breathe out. Breathe in, respira, aspira. Respira, aspira. Thank you. Thank you very much, and welcome to the presentation of the Spanish class. So for 6th grade, we're going to be using the book Chicos, Chicas, okay? And this book is made, and the editorial is from Spain. And I like this presentation of book because all the directions are in Spanish. Now, before I keep going with the book, I know some of you don't know me. My name is Patricia Camacho, and I've been teaching at EB for 18 years. I was out for half of the year last year for a sabbatical, but I've been here for a long, long time. However, my experience teaching Spanish is from the time I was in Mexico, where I'm from, and I have about a 25, 26 years experience teaching at high school level, communication, and middle school level for most of the time, Spanish classes. The main thing for me to teach Spanish is not to teach the kids the words. They can learn the words anywhere, you know, in any app, in their laptop, in the computer, they can learn Spanish. What I'm more interested in for them to learn the things around the words, okay? How Latin American people from Spain and from Africa, Spanish country, how do we talk? How do we feel? How do we use the words to communicate our love, our colors, our intentions? Is pretty much different than in any other language. We are a passionate language, passionate speakers, that the words means many things. That's why it's important not only to learn the language, but to learn what is behind the words. I'm gonna give you just a quick example. You know, like in United States, we have to be very formal, politically correct when we speak. And it doesn't mean that we don't do that in Spanish, but we are more open to the meaning of the words. For example, here we cannot say or describe a person as gordo because it's not correct. We have to find a way to say he's a big person, or, you know, so we don't make that person feel bad. In Latin countries, or most of them, we use the word only as a description. That person is gordo or gorda. However, we also use it as a sweet word. What does that mean? If we want to talk to our loved one, we're going to call it gordo. Can you bring me a glass of water? And that gordo doesn't mean that person is fat. It's just a sweet word that we use to call them. On the other hand, we can use the word flaco or flaca, that means skinny, for the same reason. Flaca, do you want to go to the movies? And it doesn't mean you're a skinny person. No, it means I love you so much that I want to invite you to the movies. So as you can see, gordo and flaca has a different meaning, okay, in other languages. Okay, so saying that, I want you to know that how important is to know the culture of the country, our colors, our environment, our food, everything that is important. Now, going back to the book, I've been using the book Chicos Chicas for many years, but now I'm going to start introducing, not this year, but probably by next year, the new presentation of the book that is Instantes. This book, I like it because it has the same grammar and exercises authorized for the frame of languages from Europe, but also is modern with more technology, with more new fonts. You know, this book still using the fonts with antenna, and the kids sometimes laugh at it because they don't know these kind of fonts. So I'm gonna start introducing the new book. Also, I would like to tell you about the grading. The grading is a little bit different this year. It's gonna be 25% for participation, that is very important. 25% classwork and homework. Usually I don't give too much homework, but if the kids don't finish the assignment in class, they have to do it for homework. Projects and tests, and that is gonna be the 100%. So I don't know if you have any questions. Oh, by the way, I know some of the fifth graders because they are great. They are wonderful. I assigned something for Monday and I have half of the work already done. So I'm so happy with them. If you have any question, I'm here. I don't know if you have the option to unmute yourself. But if you don't, I think I'm going to pass it to Madame Curie, the music teacher. And thank you. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Adios.
Good evening, Patricia.
Hola.
So hello, everybody. So my name is Anne Curie. I am the music teacher. It's my third year at EB, and I'm teaching from first grade to 8th grade. So I have a wide range of classes, and it's been a challenge to teach music on distance learning because, as you know, in a Zoom, we cannot be synchronized, so it's hard to sing together. So I had to find other solutions to make it happen. And one of the tools I found that is the most convenient for me for the music is a Padlet. So a Padlet is a wall with little windows who are linked to a link, and mostly YouTube or documents that I record by myself. And so I teach them the songs like one piece after the other, like I would do in a classroom, but they have to press on play to hear me and practice. So I send my link to the Padlet, and they have the link. They can practice all the week when they want to, when they have time. And we have 30 minutes together during the week. Okay, so this is the 6th graders. So I have the 6th graders and I have the 6th IT. We don't do the same thing, because with the 6th IT, I'm more, I do like more basic songs, easier. And we talk a lot about the meanings of the lyrics, and because otherwise it's too complicated. With the regular 6th grader, we do songs that are more technical and with more difficult words and more words, more lyrics, more verses. So I don't know if, as you can imagine, so I have to give them grades too. So how do I give grades? I give grades when we learn a song. At the end, after a few weeks, when they know the song, they can record themselves, audio or video, and send it to me, so I can see that they know the song. Because when I see them on the screen, I can only see their mouth moving. I don't have the sound because I asked them to mute themselves. Otherwise, there's an echo. So the only moment when I hear them is when I ask them to send me a little like one verse or one chorus, or the two together, and they audio or video it to me, and I can listen to them. And also, sometimes I'm putting on my Padlets. There's a quiz too, a quiz with questions that are related to musical piece. So we're working on some on jazz, or I did that last year. Jazz, a lot of jazz music. We did a lot of jazz music at the end of the last school year. So they have to give me to answer the questions and turning the assignment on time. I say that to them too, because they have to be because I have to deal with so many classes, they have to give it back to me on time. And then they can have extra credits if they want to make a presentation about a topic that they like in music, a band that they like, or a song, or an instrument, and they want to do a little presentation, like 5 minutes. They can do that and have an extra credit. Also, I would give them a grade for their class participation, because it's important to hear them, and they have to be organized and lift their hands. So they know the rules by now, that they need to be organized and answer with the blue hand. So basically that's it. I think I said everything. I don't know if you have questions. Oh yeah, so we do also songs, musical pieces with quiz, also body percussions. I do or table percussions. I try to add some movements too, little dances, like the first song that we started is with sign language. So we add some sign language. And yeah, I think this time I said everything that I wanted to say. Do you have any question? No question? So I will ask Olga I did my time, right, Olga?
Yeah.
Minutes. Yeah. I told you that I'm shorter than 5 minutes. You have time.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Olga Popova. I know some of you from last year when I taught 5th grade art. And the new students to 6th grade, the 6th grade IT students, I've met them already and they're very nice. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you slide presentations of what type of projects we'll do. If you have any questions as I go, just unmute yourselves and ask. Right, I'm gonna share my screen. All right, so, all right, okay, 6th grade art. So I like to think of art as collaborations in art, because I teach the students, but I also learn from them and I'm inspired by them. And they also learn from each other when they see each other's work. So I like to think of it as a collaboration. My teaching philosophy is that we develop the creativity of the students by teaching them visual skills and solid knowledge. So for example, to arrive at those city perspectives, we started with perspective drawings. And actually this year's 6th grade is a step ahead because we did some of this last year. So they're well prepared to do it. Another core issue for art is that we collaborate with other classes. For example, we collaborated with 6th grade French. They wrote an adventure story in French class and we illustrated it as a comic. So you see the story, breaking it down into moments. Then we do a simple outline of the comic and then we develop those beautiful comics. And I want to point out that the 3 comic panels, the 3 pages that you see here, they were done last year during distance learning. So we managed to do good art even while we work from home. All of this year is last year's distance learning work. I'm going to switch to the next slide and show you the types of projects we do. Now, before I talk about the projects, I have a note for the 6 IT families. Because of the logistics of distance learning, 6th grade IT meets together with 7th grade IT. So for the first few projects, while we are distance learning, they will follow the 7th grade program. And I will send the presentation for 7th grade to those 3 families. You'll get it in email from me. so that you know what they'll be doing at the beginning. They would not be doing those first 3 projects. But hopefully at the end of the year, if we are on site at EB, they might be together with 6th grade, and then they'll follow the same program. So what you see here, the first project, for example, figure drawing based on Greek vases, is a project that we'll do while we're in distance learning. You'll be getting packages from me, and in the packages, there'll be all the materials they need to do the work, except for scissors and color pencils, okay? Basic things that each house probably has. We'll also try to do some 3-dimensional work while we're in distance learning. We will create those assemblage boxes in which they describe themselves through objects. Last year, the students did very good work when they created their dream rooms working from home. Those were the best I've seen so far, and I've done the project 3 times. So I believe we'll manage. I'll send the cardboard pieces and we'll manage. You see here a movie project, the stop animation project. This slide is from 2 years ago when we built the animation stages at school. But we also did animation last year during distance learning. I sent home the basis on which they can prop their Chromebooks, so they can, they're kind of like a tripod for the Chromebook. So the students were able to do animation at home, and we'll do it again. And what you see in this slide is a room that was created as a dream room in 5th grade, got used in 6th grade as the setting for a movie. We will do a comic. We will work on high quality for the comic, and we'll treat it like a real book, hoping to publish it if we can get good scans from the students and give them a copy of the book at the end of the year. So what is important is I teach them skills to express themselves with visual language, but the ideas that they express are their own. We integrate the content with other disciplines. And I try to give examples based on art history, but also looking at art from different cultures and different periods. In distance learning, we have classes on Zoom, 30 minutes, and I do demonstration during that time, and they draw during those 30 minutes, and they work with me. They should not need to do much more work outside of class. To be successful, the best thing is you need to do your work on time. So weekly, I expect 1 progress photo of what they're doing. It doesn't have to be finished work. And so far, I haven't had 6th grade yet because we mixed a Friday, but in 7th grade, they've been managing. So I hope it will work. So we are going to manage the distance learning. We'll do great art. And if we're back in school, we'll do more elaborate stuff. I think I'm done. If you have questions, if not, I'll turn it to the next person. Christy, do you want to be next?
I will be next. Hello, families. Over here. Okay, so we have a lot of 6th grade families here. It's nice to see everybody. I'm going to share my screen with you. I don't think I can share my screen because I have not been made a host. Thumbs up, but can everyone hear me? Okay, perfect. So I'm sorry I can't share my screen. Oh, there we go. And I apologize for the cartoons if you can hear them in the background. That is me keeping my child occupied for now. Okay, so welcome to 6th grade social studies. I'm Miss Greer. I'm going to be teaching the 6th grader social studies. I love 6th grade social studies. I've been teaching it for a few years now, and I really enjoy 6th grade minds and how powerful they are, and I'm just very excited to jump in and do this class with the 6th graders. So I'm going to talk real quickly about who I am, and then I'll talk to you about what I'm going to be teaching. So a little bit about me. I'll go through each picture. So I'm from Jersey, born and raised in New Jersey, but my family is from Ireland. So my parents came over to America, and I spent my summers in Ireland and England. And that's eventually how I met my husband, Nate. We met in Switzerland when we were working over there. And we moved back here to California. That's where he's from. 19 months ago, we had our son, Jamie. He's the best little thing ever. I love him. And this picture to the left is a former student of mine, Jonathan. I've been teaching for 10 years. That picture was taken at his 8th grade promotion, and now he's a senior in high school, which is wild how fast our kids grow, and how much they change, and also how much they don't change. It's so interesting to me to see. But yeah, I really enjoy teaching. I love teaching. It's my passion. I love middle school especially. And I'm just very grateful to be here and be with you guys and your children, and hopefully soon together on campus. So I'll talk to you a little bit about what we're going to be doing in social studies and what your students are going to be learning. So social studies is interesting because it's not history, it's social studies. So really studying the people and the events before, especially 6th grade, the European age of exploration, sort of ancient history, and how even though these events took place and these people existed so long ago, the impact that they have on our lives today, for better and for worse. It really focuses on the everyday lives and problems and accomplishments, the social aspect of things. And with me, they're going to be covering ancient Greece, which is awesome, Percy Jackson type of stuff. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. China and Rome in the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, the Age of Exploration, the rise of Islam, and then hopefully at the end of the year, we can get to other world religions and how they've play a part in our world today. Even though we aren't followers of those religions, they still impact what's been done in the world. So ways you can support your child in history and social studies is support with organization skills, especially with distance learning. My goodness, it's hard as an adult. I can only imagine being a 6th grader in this virtual world. So really helping them with organization, whether that's folders on their Google Drive or actual literal folders that they have. Provide immediate positive feedback. Positive feedback, I'm sure you guys know as parents, is so important to, raising our kids to feel empowered and feel like they're making strides in their education. Please stay in contact with me if there's any worry, big or small, or anything you want to celebrate. Please reach out. I'm a huge advocate for communicating with parents, if a child makes a poor choice, but also communicating with parents when students are making the right choices and celebrating what our students are doing right. So hopefully, you're going to be hearing from me. And give your child and yourself a break and reach out if you need support. It's hard. Distance learning is hard. This, but please reach out if you need any support. I have a survey here. You don't need to take it now, but I would really appreciate it if you took a picture with your phone or jotted this down real quick. I tried to make it tiny on tiny URL. And it's just a survey, telling me, who you see your child as, their strengths, where you want to push them, where I can push them in their learning. And so I can make that part of our curriculum this year. Does anyone, I'm not sure if, yes, we have, hello, Nordine.
Hi, Chrissy.
You ready to take over?
Yeah, I am. When you will be done with your questions.
Yes, okay. Parents, does anyone have any questions particularly for me and social studies? I can't see the raised hand, so you can just unmute yourself and ask away if you do. Give you a little bit of think time, and if I don't hear anything, we'll move on. Three, two, one. Okay. If you can send me questions via email, but we'll hand it over now.
All right. So I will take over Ms. Greer, if you are okay with that. So my name is Nordine Boulaïs, and I have a very similar story than Ms. Greer. I'm also very passionate with teaching history and geography. I've been working as a social studies teacher for more than 18 years. Actually, altogether as an educator for 22 years in the US. I come from France, and I studied history in the University Charles de Gaulle in northern France, in Lille. And I arrived in Chicago in 1998, and I've been there since. And for me, it's a new experience to join EB, and I'm so excited to meet the community. I also have children. I have 2 kids and a son and a daughter, 10 years old and 7 years old. And I know exactly how it feels to be the age of the kids that I am teaching to. For Histoire Geography, we worked with Ms. Greer to share the curriculum. So the textbook we will use is Atier. That's one of the brand, but I will use other documents as well from internet or for other brands, from other brands in French textbooks. So as Ms. Greer explained, we split the history. For history, I will just take the very beginning of the curriculum, which is pretty much the prehistoric time. So the birth of humanity and the migration across the planet. And I will take also the very end of the curriculum, the French curriculum, which is the connection between the Roman Empire and the China of the Hans. And mainly we will mention the Silk Road. So that's pretty much it in history, as Ms. Greer will cover the ancient Greece. Of course, I will cover the topics of ancient Egypt and ancient Mesopotamia before to explain the birth of state, the birth of writing, and the birth of agriculture even before that. As for the geography, the curriculum will be at a global scale. We will study the big cities. We will study the regions with low density, meaning desert, polar regions, islands, mountainous regions, jungles, etc. We will study the coastlines, touristic coastlines, as well as the industrial seaports. And finally, we will study the world population, so global demographics. So it is very, very interesting curriculum. I will just follow up on what Ms. Greer recommended. I can only encourage you to push your children to read, to follow the news. Even at their age, they will learn much more than you think. Of course, when the COVID will allow us to travel, to visit exhibitions, we will do that as well when we will come back on campus. And of course, to watch documentaries, read the news, watch the news on TV, etc. Ask questions, be curious, and please feel free to contact either Ms. Greer or myself if you have any question regarding the class. And that's pretty much it for my presentation. I look for. Feel free to ask now, or you can email me as well, and I would be happy to answer your questions. Non, pas de questions? Is that, am I hearing a kid or a pet or?
That's my
Oh,
baby.
that's a baby?
He's watching Mary Had a Little Lamb and gets excited when he sees the lamb.
That's the most beautiful.
But But Miss Campbell should be popping in any minute now to go over 6th grade English.
Here I am. I'm here.
Hello.
Hi. Zooming in from the school, actually. This is my classroom.
Oh, here we go.
And I mean, when we actually get back to school, we may be sharing this room, but this is sometimes I'm Zooming from this classroom, actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. I have a presentation for everybody, but first off, I wanna say hello, good evening. I've been enjoying your students so much already. They're incredibly independent and savvy with Zoom and respectful, and they're really, I've not really had a 6th grade like this before, where we start on Zoom and see their tech savvy, their tech ability is like a totally different level than I've ever seen in 6th grade. So be reassured, there are some silver linings to this strange moment. And let me just start up on my screen share. Okay, here it is. Okay. Okay, and Susan Campbell's my name, so if you need to contact me, I'm scampbell@eb.org, and I really encourage you to reach out, especially if your child is struggling and they're not self-advocating. This is a really good opportunity for us to have a conversation, and to start to I may need to scaffold or change a text. Students are coming in at slightly different levels depending on how long they've been in the American schools. So I'm now assessing their levels, seeing where I'm going to differentiate the curriculum, and you may be helping me out in that, especially if the curriculum starts to feel really tough, or if it's too easy too. So a little bit about me. You may or may not have met me, but I am a mom. My son is a 7th grader, Bodie Oakley, and I have a 9th grader at Berkeley High. They are fortunately really free-range kids at this point, and they can do a lot of work at home on their own. And I am really enjoying being back to work, honestly, after a summer of being a summer camp counselor for them. I teach visual art 8th grade as well, and I teach 7th grade English, and I've taught 8th grade English and high school English. I've been teaching 30 years now. I taught 8 years in high school English, different parts of the country and in Switzerland. And my master's is from Middlebury, and I studied English and French lit at Cornell. And I love painting watercolor portraits and figure drawing. I really love live model, which is not something I can do anymore, sadly. I'm getting to know your kids. It's really, this last 2 weeks, this has been one of my real efforts, is creating relationships. I think that's critical with Zoom. The 3 other pieces that I think are so critical with Zoom are curiosity, collaboration, and creativity. And so those are the ways I'm rethinking how I teach. It was always part of my teaching, but I think you have to emphasize it even more to keep them engaged. Oops. My teaching philosophy. I really want them to continue to love reading and writing. So many of them come out of the lower school great readers, and then they can get very into the social life of being a preteen and a teen. You'll see it just takes off and becomes more and more of their entire free time. So what I'm really trying to encourage is that you take time out to continue to read what you love, and stretch your reading. If you're always reading about you're always doing historical fiction, you're always reading sci-fi, I'm going to push you every other book into another dimension, another genre. But if you keep reading, you're going to become a writer. That's just the way it is. It's all about the reading. And that's where the vocab comes as well. So we want to push the reading. We practice thinking routines, close reading, study skills, how to slow down the reading to start to understand what authors are doing and the crafty connections and irony they're developing, or the way they're using persuasion. We talk a lot about the writing process in 6th grade and how many steps there are in the writing process and how intentional these steps have to be so that we can build a better understanding, particularly with organization. These kids are good writers. I've already read a lot of their work. They're good with free writing. So what you see in 6th grade is more and more understanding of structures so that the communication becomes clear, and especially as they're starting to play with more complex ideas and more complex arguments. I want to make learning authentic and relevant, so they're really pushing for an audience that cares about their thoughts and their feelings, and they're writing for an audience. I want to always provide timely and clear feedback, and I really want to always model respectful behavior. Whoops. Oh no. This is one of my, there we go. Model respectful interactions and emphasize good collaborative skills, good self-discipline, critical inquiry. Like I said, curiosity is so important, and hard work. Okay. So what you may see that's slightly different, we're working more with formal writing structures, narrative, argumentative, informational. I'm still working with reader-writer workshops. So a lot of the things you've seen with the lower school, a lot of the language that's been used will be continued in the middle school. We work with multiple genres and styles. I'm going to teach them more about research, note-taking, annotating texts. The themes this year are breaking barriers, courageous characters, childhood, hero's journey, memory and society. And you'll see particularly in these first several units, I'm making connections with history, art, media, political systems, and how the power of language is used to persuade, repress, and liberate, and also to innovate. Okay. Reading focus, we're doing all these different genres this year alone, including ads and visual art. So we'll be looking in the fall at historical fiction and memoir, and then persuasive essays and video, and then in the spring, fantasy sci-fi novels. We'll also do some realistic fiction in the winter. And again, the focus is on these primary essay forms: narrative, argument, and information. And really the idea is that I get them to become thinkers, like thinkers that can analyze, they can think logically, but then they can also use creativity to elicit an emotional response and to engage the reader. So the skills focus, discussions, peer editing. We do a lot of small group work in pairs and triads, and the breakout rooms have been really successful for that. And the 6th graders love it. So that's something that's a big part of my curriculum, is collaboration with peers. Mechanics, grammar, syntax, and writer's craft are very important at this stage, where we're really emphasizing things like capitalization and punctuation, if that's not happening. And then the next step is really thinking about how to write a longer sentence and punctuate it correctly, how to understand different forms of phrases and clauses, and how also to use vocabulary to craft a sentence, how to use strong verbs and strong nouns, not just flowery adjectives. And we'll work on the writing process, careful editing for clarity and style, organization in projects, so being able to sequence tasks so you end up with what you really wanted to end up with in the end. So if you skipped out on an outline, for instance, outlining your essay, then probably your essay is not going to be very organized. So that's one of the things that 6th graders have to figure out, is that there are really things that you have to do in sequence, and they've got to get done, or else the final product won't be what you wanted it to be. Critical thinking and research skills, writing for understanding, and then we do a lot with the vocabulary book, which is the orange, sadly or Oxford vocabulary workshop. It's no longer Wordly Wise. And I'm hoping that I have all your students at the right level, but that's something in the next couple of weeks you can let me know if it feels like this A-book is really too easy. It's the 6th grade level. You get let me know, and I we'll arrange a pickup, or I'll drop off at your house a new book. They need for work in English, always green folder, pencil, pen, laptop, text, and vocab tests. Everything for the day will be listed in order in the Google Classroom stream. So our routine is they go first to the stream, so they're not lost even if their Zoom is glitchy. They go to the stream. If, for instance, the Zoom disappears completely and they're lost, go to the stream. Everything they need to do for that class period is in the stream. All the assignments are posted in the stream as well. So they click on the assignment to follow assignment directions, and then they post the work in that correct place on that assignment. So it's something that I think Madame Pluche emphasized. It's something that really saves us teachers on Zoom. It allows us to use Google Classroom correctly, which is like we're able to grade on Google Classroom. If kids are emailing us assignments and not going back and putting them on the correct assignment on Google Classroom, it's really tricky, and we're spending a lot of time hunting for work. So that routine is something I just want to emphasize, and I really want them to also try to finish the piece of work that they've got to do during the week, whatever it is. If there are 4 assignments, they didn't get it in on time, I want them to get it on by Friday so that it doesn't pile up and then they don't know where to put the assignment. Okay, so that's one of the pieces that seems to be really critical with Zoom. When struggling, I'm always available to help, and please encourage them to seek me out in office hours or independent study, and you can do that as well. And I want to encourage a growth mindset that you know that they can really do this work. They're going to come in at different levels, but they all can do it, and it takes persistence and endurance, and also that they and a belief in themselves, you know. And hopefully I'm encouraging that too. So I'm going to ask you to encourage growth mindset. Kids weren't born writers, they become writers. And they become writers if they feel like their voice matters, and they have good teachers along the way who are suggesting ways to rethink writing and what they can do with a piece of writing. You can help them track homework on Google Classroom and help with time management. Make sure they're not multitasking. If you see that there's a lot of tabs open, you really don't want to discourage that. And with middle schoolers, I recommend that when you discourage multitasking, it's kind of a question. It's like, you really think all those tabs open are going to work out for you? I think probably it'll be easier to get the work done if you close them. You know, that tends to work better than like, close those tabs. Help them turn in work. As I said before, don't email the assignments, put them on Google Classroom. Help them show up on time to Zoom and prepared to focus. And share your love of reading through book discussions, read aloud, shared audiobooks. If they're ever struggling with any of my texts, an audiobook is the key to upping their game. Absolutely. So you read as you listen, but you always have that audiobook in the background. It really helps. And reach out to me. Oh, I said that several times, but I mean it, okay? And that's it. Does anybody have any questions? I hope you're on manual unmute, because that's generally how I run my class. Are you? Let's see. Okay. Any questions?
Hi, Sue. This is Sebastian.
Yes. Hi, Sebastian.
How are you?
Great.
Thank you for your presentation. I have a quick question. If you feel that some students are a little bit behind in English, are you going to reach out to parents, or are you going just to do some, support to the students directly?
I think, you know, that's a good question. I can do both, actually. But yeah, like I said, you know, their students are coming in with different levels. And so what I'm going to do is I may ask you more audiobooks for kids who need to do more reading, and then reach out to you also to encourage it. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to give some extra work.
Okay, no, yeah, great. Because, you know,
Okay.
we are French families, different than an English family. So just want to know if, you know, our child is up to speed, or if we need to support him as much as we can. So thank you very much.
Sure. Julie?
Yeah, I had a question regarding independent studies, because I'm kind of confused between on the like on their sheet it's written like what is it written, like guided independent study and independent study. So what's the difference, and whether they need to check in each time? Like for today, everything was done, for instance.
Lyon, I'm gonna send an email tomorrow specifically about that.
Okay.
Try to outline the difference, because I know it's a little confusing, and I've tried to explain it a couple times, but I'm gonna send a dedicated email tomorrow to explain the difference, and also what we should be doing during that time, and what our expectations are during that time. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Miss Campbell. I thank you so much.
All right.
You've been wonderful tonight, but you're done. That's it.
Okay, thanks. I probably went over. See ya.
And Ms. Tomas, you get as much time as you want.
Yes, I know, all night.
Sorry, parents.
So hi, I'm Miss Tomas. I'm the math and English teacher. Thank you for staying that late tonight. Let me share the presentation with you. Share my screen. Okay, so quickly, I'm gonna just give you a little bit background about me. I graduated from France with a master degree in chemical engineering. I was an engineer for 12 years, working in a research and development department. But I always wanted to teach. I've been tutoring students since high school. And so a few years ago, I went back to school to get my teaching credential. And this is my second year at EB. I'm just gonna go a little bit quicker. So the curriculum at EB, we are using Singapore Math in Focus textbook. This curriculum is aligned with the California Common Core standards, but it's based on a Singapore math method. And what's a key feature of that method is the introduction of new concept in a 3-step approach, concrete, pictorial, abstract. So you start with an object or a real situation, and then you create like a visual representation. It could be a drawing, it could be a bar model of that situation, and then you translate it into a mathematical expression. We will use a lot models, and especially the bar models. I know it's something that students have been exposed to in elementary school, so we'll continue using it at the middle school. So in 6th grade, we are going to focus on 4 critical areas. So we are still focusing on numeracy and pre-algebra. First, we're going to complete the understanding of division and multiplications with fractions and decimals. We're going also to introduce the idea of negative numbers. We are going also to introduce the concept of ratio and rates and how they're connected to multiplication, division, fractions, and use those concepts to solve problems, real-world problems. We are going to introduce also the concept of variable, how to represent a known quantity with a letter, and what is an algebraic expression. And at the end of the school year, we'll start solving equations, 1-step equations. And the very last unit of the year is about statistics, where we're going to develop the understanding of statistical thinking. So that's a summary of the units we have this year, 7 units. The first unit the title doesn't really tell you what's inside, but basically they're going to learn about greatest common factor, least common multiple, what is the square of a number, the cube of a number, square roots, cube roots, and negative numbers. Second part is about multiplication and division with fraction and decimals, then ratio and rates, like I said, algebraic expressions. We will look at percents. And then the very last unit will be about statistics. What is the mean, the mode, the median of data sets? So I imagine that Madame Pluche already shared with you the structure of our math department. So we alternate between French and math. Every unit, they switch class. During distance learning, we have only 4 periods of math per week. So our units will last about 3 weeks. So 6B started with me, 6E is with Madame Pluche. This is what your student needs for my class. They need their laptop, they need their notebook, the light blue folder, and their textbook. Routine expectations. So students need to bring their material. I mean, like during distance learning, they should be ready, have their notebook, folder, and textbook when they start class. Everything's gonna be on Google Classroom. Okay, all the material they need for math class is gonna be on Google Classroom. Madame Pluche and myself, we're both using a pacing guide for our units. It describes everything we're going to do in a unit with due date for assignments. And so they can, in that document, so there's an example on the right, they have link where they click it on and they will find the material. So they'll find videos with the lessons, the vocabulary, summary lesson, the problems that are assigned as classwork and homework. An important part of math is also the oral expression, be able to use the mathematical vocabulary, not only to just memorize the definition, but really to use it when they explain their reasoning. I use a lot the small groups, especially with distance learning. It works really well with my class last year, and I hope it works as well also for 6th graders this year. And last thing is about differentiation. So I try to challenge students, and in homework, they usually have regular homework plus challenge problems. This is optional, but I encourage students to do it, to challenge themselves. There's also an enrichment activity that is activities that are extra credit, and that your student can do to challenge himself or herself. Distance learning, so teaching online is very different than being in a classroom. There's a lot of things we don't see, you know. We see much more when we are in a classroom. So one thing that's important for us in math is that your student submit his or her work on time. I have a deadline, so when they meet with me each day, they have some work to do in class. If they're not done at the end of the class, it becomes homework. But the homework needs to be turned in by 6 p.m. that day. So again, there is an assignment for each homework on Google Classroom. Also, one thing that's very important is that the students show their work. Okay, I know that some students really want the answer, but the answer is not the most important in math. It's really the steps. How did you get to the answer? So that's something we're going to work with 6th graders. And another part of distance learning is to go back to Google Classroom the next day after they turn their work to check my feedback. So if they post something tonight, I will look at it, post comments, and the next day they should go back and check my comments to see what they got right, wrong, maybe what they need to review. There will be also the corrections posted on Google Classroom, so they can also see the solution. And they should always ask questions, okay? Encourage them to ask questions when they're struggling, when they need clarifications. I'm always here for them. I mean, it's like Miss Campbell. Anytime they send me a message, I will try to meet with them as soon as possible. One thing I want to mention is I teach 3 out of 5 during independent study. So I'm available only Wednesday afternoon and Friday afternoon during independent study, but I'm in Zoom, so they can always come and stop by. They don't even have to let me know that they will come. I will be in my Zoom room and they just have to come to my class. Homework, so like I said, during distance learning, there's classwork assigned. If they're not done at the end of the class, it becomes homework. But another part of the homework is to review the lesson, the new concept that we learn, to memorize definitions. One thing I want to emphasize is that students sometimes review what they've learned the same day, but they don't review what they've learned 1 week ago. And so I want really you to support them and encourage them to do that, because sometimes they tend to forget what they've learned during the lesson number 1. The homework, so I give a grade for the homework, but for completeness. Okay, we're here to learn, we're here to make mistakes. So as long as they try, even if it's incorrect, I will give them the grade. For the assessments, so their grade is based on 3 types of assessment. Homework, classwork, participation, it's one of them, it's 25% of their grade. Project, 25%. And the 50% left are for tests and quizzes. For each unit, they will have 1 quiz. It's a pop quiz, so they don't know about it, but it comes around mid-unit. And on the last day of the unit, they have the test. So they can do test corrections. So when they do the test, I will grade it, give them a grade. If their grade is less than 90% or A-, they can do test corrections. That means they will take the test, a new test. New test. It's the same test as they did, but a blank piece of paper, and they will have to redo the test. Of course, for that, they can use their notebook, textbook. They can ask you for help. They can ask questions to their classmates, to me as well. The idea is to learn from their mistake, to not do the same mistake again. And of course, it's going to also help them raise their grade, because at the end, I will take their original grade plus the grade from the corrections, and I will do the average. So I encourage all students that don't have 90% on their test or quizzes to do that. How you can help your child by helping them study the vocabulary, reviewing the new skills or concepts. Make sure that they did their homework, but also that they turn their homework. Sometimes students forget to take picture and upload it to Google Classroom, so make sure they did that. And also help them acknowledge difficulties. If they have any questions or need clarifications, tell them that they encourage them to ask questions during class. And if they are absent for any reason, first during distance learning, even after that, everything is on Google Classroom. So please check Google Classroom. If they still don't understand what they have to do, they can always send me a message. But if you're absent, you still have to turn homework. And you will have more time. You don't have to do it on the day that's due for the other people, but you will have to make up your absences. And again, communication is very important. So I'll communicate with your students in class or sending email if needed. I'll let you know if I have any concern, but don't hesitate to contact me as well. And again, so this is my contact information, and if your child needs help, let them know that they can send me a message. Don't be afraid, I'm here for them. And that was the end. So do you have any questions? I'm gonna stop sharing. Like this I can see. No. Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. And we're really enjoying working with your students. That's all the teachers are raving about them. So thank you. Keep up the good work. And we just so excited to be working with all of you this year.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone. Bye.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Au revoir. Thank you.
Good night. Au revoir. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Laila Tov. Night, Susie. Night, Yumi. Good to meet you. Good night.
Good night.
Hi, Fabiola.
Bye. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night. Good night, Michael. Night, Gabby. Thank you so much, Sylvie.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Richard, I'm host, right? Or can you?
Yes, still host.
It's okay. It's over. You can go. You were the last one. Yeah.
Am
Thank
I
you
the
so
one
much,
who-
Valerie. Oh no, did you stick around just for that, Valerie? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You have to.
No,
but-
no, it was interesting.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Bye.
Good night. Well, sorry.